Are we doing actual top fives now?
Yeah. So actual top fives. Now the moment you've all been
I'll
waiting
make
for.
one more adjustment.
Oh my
Yeah, I gotta
God.
go back to my navigate back.
Okay, so my number 5 is Triple R.
Does anyone else have Triple R in their top 5?
I'm racist, unfortunately.
Oh no, I think we all mentioned it earlier. So
yeah, mine's at
let's
8
talk
and your
about-
guys is at 6.
this is our last opportunity to talk about Triple R. DJ, take it away.
Well, I love me a good romance. It's probably the best romantic comedy of the year.
True.
Probably, just romantic comedy of the year, honestly. Action is top notch. It's hysterical. The effects are surprisingly good occasionally. What really blew me away was the musical sequences. I think we can all agree those are amazing.
Go!
The Natu dance sequence had me sweating.
Nacho is goated.
It's so
It is.
good. But yeah, it just makes me really want to check out other Bollywood movies, action movies. But also, Scream has a Bollywood remake called Shh, which also has musical sequences. And so I really got to check that out.
I don't want to be the actually guy, but I'm only doing this because I'm sure there's Indian people who would be upset.
It's not Bollywood.
It's not Bollywood.
Okay, well,
No.
that was what I was told.
Nollywood?
By a
I think it is.
racist.
I guess
I don't know the correct term for it, but Bollywood refers to that specific studio system. This was made independently out of that studio system, although it still had a shit ton of money. I don't know.
It's also, well, it's...
Isn't it
It's
the most
made-
expensive Indian movie of all
It
time?
is.
Or one of
Yes.
them? Yeah.
It's not necessarily made outside of a studio system. It's made in a different studio system because India is so big. It'd be like
Okay.
if we had like a New York / Hollywood rivalry between two studio systems.
Okay, that's
That
good.
makes sense.
Almost like that. But I think Bollywood is centered in Mumbai and the other one is somewhere else in the country.
Okay.
Which I should learn more. I should watch more Indian cinema. This
I
is,
should
if
probably-
anything, I think Triple R will be a inspiration to watch some more.
Same.
Yeah.
I've checked out very few Indian movies, but the few that I have, like half of them are some of my favorite movies I've ever seen. So I gotta get more into it.
Cool. We should all watch Shh.
I'm so down.
Or
That sounds incredible.
The fucking his other movie that he made about a guy who gets turned into a fly also looks very good.
Oh, I heard about this.
Iga,
There-
looks awesome.
Yeah. There's a lot of great scores and a lot of great music in the movies this year, but Triple R is the one that has been on my Spotify for quite
Same.
some time. I go back and I listen to almost every track. It's not that long.
Whoa.
There's not that many tracks because they reuse them quite a bit, especially like
Mm.
the hero theme. Ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, ba. It's just they're just all so entertaining. And like
Yeah.
every element of the movie.
Yeah, they
is
find a way to just make everything to 11.
It's just having fun. Like it's
Yeah.
not worried. This is very much like the style of Indian and I think maybe Asian blockbusters in general, because I think this goes for China as well, where they're not as concerned with special effects because they don't have the resources that Hollywood or a company like Disney can just throw at special effects, and even they get some bad results as of late. But this is where like the classic George Lucas quote where it's like it's not about the special effects, it's about the story. And too often movies use special effects as a crutch. This one is like the perfect balance between a story that supports the special effects and vice versa, and it's just so much fun.
It is. The sitting on the shoulders action sequence
Yes.
Fucking amazing.
is fucking
I love
sick.
it. Turns into
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid for like 5 minutes.
And
It's like part Metal Gear, part John Woo.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
fucking like MGM musical at the end with a director cameo.
It's so much fun. Yeah.
It's
with
incredible.
the bridge scene near the beginning when they're like coming at each other and they decide, I'm like, how did they
They
coordinate
just did it
this?
with the look. They're just like,
They're
Everything.
just
Yeah.
I forget what
bros.
they
Yeah,
did.
they
They just
know.
know,
They
and
know.
then they go off and then they like grab hands. I'm like, oh, this is just.
They're not
felt so
soulmates.
good.
They're soul bros.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my number 5.
The shot of near the very beginning when we're first introduced to the second guy, where it's through the reflection in the water and then it turns.
yeah.
This is
I
before like he goes to capture the tiger.
Oh,
Great
yeah,
shot.
yeah.
One of my favorites of
That
the year.
whole, I love it.
Wild. Yeah. so much fun. It's on Netflix.
Oh,
so
sorry.
apparently everyone's getting rid of their Netflix, but before you get rid of it, watch
True.
Triple R.
True.
Yeah.
Cool. It's number 5 for Sonju.
Is it my number 5?
Yeah.
My number 5 is The Whale. I like Darren Aronofsky. The Wrestler is goated. One of my favorite movies ever, probably.
Great.
It's just a great character study. I get what makes Darren Aronofsky great is he's not. It's his best trait, but also people can argue it's his worst trait. Is he occasionally doesn't have this sensitivity around his characters, where it's like it's just brutal. And I get that can rub people the wrong way, but for me it worked. Brendan Fraser's great. I like that it mainly takes place in one location, very few characters. It feels like a play because it is. It's like, I don't know, the atmosphere of it is good, and it's all Brendan Fraser's performance. I think he's incredible. I think he's rightfully getting the awards recognition. I think cynically, I think he might win. I think he should probably win, but like I think Hollywood could give themselves a pat on the back despite kind of blacklisting him. But anyway, The Whale, top 5. One of the best theater experiences of the year, despite people coming in an hour into the movie and talking.
Yeah,
and
that happened when Chandler, not that late, but when Chandler and I watched it. People
it was
came
literally
in
like
after
an
like 5-10
hour
minutes
into
of
the movie.
Yeah.
And
then they just left after crumbling food for like 10 minutes. And then
So
they just
stupid.
people got mad, brought in the AMC people, and then they left. So even despite all that, loved the movie. Perfect ending. So yeah.
The ending to The Whale is absolutely absurd. The film is a giant pile of shit. It's mean. It's
I don't think it's mean.
terribly. Well, let me go through my diatribe real quick, and then I'll be done. I don't care for it at all. The ending, it felt like I was being milked of my tears. Not in a good way, like I was slave labor. Like, you know, in Borat, where he's like talking about like the gypsy tears. I felt like I was like in a farm. Someone was getting my tears because fucking Borat wanted my tears. I felt myself getting emotional despite my own will. Like I was like, this is bad. I am on the verge of laughing at this and crying at this. What is happening? It was just so weird. I did not appreciate this at all.
I remember you mentioned it. You said it was manipulative.
Yeah, it is.
And I think you could argue it is, but that's most movies.
But this
all
one
movies
is like
are
it's
manipulative.
playing monstrous music as he's walking, and I get like that's the point. That was a conscious decision. Did not work for me. I think it had the opposite effect for me. So this is another one of those movies where like Darren Aronofsky, he's a smart director. I like the work he's done before, and he very consciously chose everything he chose in this movie. It just had perhaps the opposite effect for me than it did for a lot of other people.
Yeah, I totally understand people like not enjoying that part of it. I didn't find it mean-spirited
at all.
But I mean, I don't know. I didn't find it mean-spirited. I'm with you with the score a little bit. I think that was just them trying to reflect how he feels about himself, but I didn't think it was mean-spirited. I think it was just trying to be as raw as possible, perhaps to its detriment, which was why I talked about Darren Aronofsky's like not being sensitive to certain things, but I still thought the portrayal was very emotionally cathartic. And I'm a sucker for like an ending that breaks reality and is like thematic. I'm a sucker for that. So I dug it. I thought it was a great ending, especially when I heard how the play ends. I thought it was a good way to how they adapted it to the movie.
I liked the ending up until that very last moment where the reality breaks.
The shot.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I'm a whale defender. I think people hate it too much. Honestly, I understand not liking it, but I feel like people, I don't know. I feel like people are a little uncomfortable and they consider the discomfort they feel to be exploitative. I don't agree with that at all. I think it's a great movie. I think it is a movie that feels play-like, but is the play-like structure of it or concept of it is woven into the actual character study. I don't think it's a perfect movie by any means, but it is in my top 12. Brendan Fraser is very good. The ending is very funny though. Unintentionally so.
It is. But I like
it in
it.
theory. I think the last shot is a little goofy, but whatever. I don't care.
Speaking of the play-like nature, this I'm going to contrast with Women Talking, in that the whale never felt like it grew beyond the play that it came from. It definitely felt like in moments where like, oh, okay, character enters stage right through the front door, character exits. And it just felt almost very mechanical, especially like a lot of like the shot selection. I just did not appreciate the way it was filmed. In contrasted with Women Talking, which I felt was very much play-esque, but it was wholly a movie and like presented in a way that I think was just much more successful in a very limited setting.
I was gonna say the blocking is kind of
Sure.
what took me out of it the most, because it just felt so choreographed.
Yeah.
But
I get that. I was okay with it because, like Chandler said, it is woven into the story where he's very literally and figuratively like in the same spot. And I heard Darren Aronofsky say he's like the sun and these things are moving around him, like his life's like orbiting around him, which I thought was kind of interesting. But yeah, that's a fair criticism. I think it is imperfect. I could see like All Quiet and Banshees and maybe Triple R going above it, but it was so cathartic for me that I raised it to my 5.
cool.
Well, hey, it's a movie by a very good director, so I can't, despite my dislike for it, I can't begrudge.
I've only seen 2 of his movies. I think I like The Whale a little bit more than The Wrestler. Just a little
Whoa.
bit.
I love The Wrestler.
The Wrestler is
fucking awesome.
It's funny because those 2 I feel like are the ones that appeal more to me, and everything else, like everything I see from Requiem for a Dream just looks so fucking cringe.
Should watch Mother. I think you'd think it was interesting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot that was him too. Interesting. Or Noah.
Or Black Swan.
What are we on? Oh, number 5. My number 5 is The Fabelmens.
Let's
Goodness.
It's gone up so much. I didn't think I'd like this movie. And
where was it originally when you first put it on your list?
When I first put it, I think it was like, it was in the top 10. I remember putting it right above The Batman and Glass Onion. It just kind of keeps growing, and I think it will continue to grow. Oh, do you mean like when we started the podcast?
No, I just mean like after you first watched it and added it to your 2020 list.
Yeah, no, it's gone up. And I think it'll continue to go up.
Oh, is this the one you just moved?
That's what I was gonna say.
Then?
It's one of many.
Yeah.
Triple R was in the top 5 up until about an hour ago.
Damn.
But The Fabelmens, I think was not expecting to like this. On paper, I shouldn't like this, and there's still a lot about it that I don't particularly gel with. I'm not gonna say it's a perfect movie, but it reminds me a lot of Licorice Pizza, where it's just a bunch of scenes that happen, and at the end, it sort of paints a picture. It's a movie about a guy who's so fucking good at making movies, and he doesn't know what to do about it, or why he does it, or what movies are, or like the power of them, or his compulsion to make them. And I feel like on paper that's the like fucking most masturbatory thing ever. But
right.
Steven Spielberg makes it work, because if there's anyone who fucking deserves it, it's him. It's God. The ending is fantastic. David Lynch scene of the year. Honestly, I would say scene of the year is that scene.
It's certainly a top 5.
It's one of those that just I don't know. It feels so personal in a way that I feel like Spielberg usually isn't. I mean, he's always personal with his filmmaking, but this is so like he waited until both of his parents were dead to tell this.
Yeah.
It feels
well,
like
he talks about that with PTA.
Yeah.
It took a while. He said he had a series of scenes, and the secret that he keeps he said is what him and his screenwriter found was the through line that kind of like wove all these events together. And like I think it's not like structured in a I don't know, like a common way where it's like very uncommonly structured, but I really like that. And I feel like it is narratively cohesive, despite it being about like 3 different things that you wouldn't think would be related.
And if we're getting into the nitty gritty of it too, it's my favorite climax of the year. That scene with him and the bully in the hallway is just like so weirdly profound about like the psychological foundation of what movies are.
Totally.
I never would have expected it to take that direction. Love it. Only other thing I'll say is that holy fucking shit, like the guy who Gabriel LaBelle, the guy who played Sammy Fabelman, is so goddamn good. So fucking good.
Looks just like Steven Spielberg too.
He's so goddamn good, and he's Jewish.
And he's Jewish.
Excellent.
He's Canadian Jewish. I cannot wait to see what he does. I think he was like what held this movie together. Beautiful movie. I think it'll just keep going up.
I agree.
I gotta rewatch it.
I just recently rewatched it, and thank God I did, because the first time I watched it, I don't know. It's really weirdly paced, in a way that, like, if you're not, at least if you're not sure where it's going, it's just kind of like it moves and then it slows and then it moves really fast and it just kind of like hops around, and that's kind of like the point. This is very much a very similar experience, as Chandler mentioned, to Licorice Pizza. In that first time I watched it, I was like, I don't know what to make of this. I don't necessarily know if I enjoyed it, because just the pacing was just so unexpected. I'm not saying good or bad, just unexpected. And my recent rewatch, this was the most important rewatch of them all. I certainly enjoyed it a lot more on a rewatch. And my God, this just proves that Spielberg is just a goddamn funny director too. Like, he can be really funny. The scene where she's like, pray to Jesus, let Jesus come into you. Hilarious, especially
very funny.
Being Jewish myself, it impacts me on that level too. Especially, how could I hate a movie that starts off with Hanukkah? I mean, come on, that's just great. I don't know. I'm of the position that it doesn't quite fit together as nicely as I would like to. It still feels very episodic for me, but it's just so damn well directed, and there's so much passion, and it's just so well cast, like all around. I think this is one of the best ensembles. There's a lot of great ensemble casts this year, but everyone from Sammy, obviously, to his parents, but also the girl he's dating, she does a great job. There's just like a lot of like bit.
Also the girl from Licorice Pizza.
Yep, and we personally know.
True,
One of the prominently featured extras in the Fabelmens. So it's a great movie. I can't not like it. It rose from like the 30s to nearly the top 10 upon my rewatch. Yeah,
I think it'll rise for me too. I was pre-watching this at a 5. I thought it was gonna be my movie of the year.
Stop pre-watching.
No, I mean, when I say pre-watching, I just say that I'm assuming
it's
gonna be a 5. No, anyway, I was expecting something else, I think, but it was really just 2 competing storylines that of equal importance. In an episodic structure, but I guess it just gave me whiplash the first time, so I think going in the second time is really going to help.
Sure. Yeah, another thing real quick that is interesting about the Fabelmans is that Spielberg, I forget who was it, Lawrence Kasdan? I don't remember who helped write it. Write it with Spielberg.
Kasdan.
It was a playwright. I was in too.
But it's like 70-year-old men writing teenagers, and I mean it's their childhood, but it didn't ever feel like old men writing teenagers.
Yeah, it was never cringe in that way.
Well, to be fair, it was also back then.
That's what I'm saying. It was when they were growing up, or when Spielberg was growing up. It's a little different, but still.
Tony Kushner.
Yeah. Anyway, Fabelman's great.
Who was that? Is that Chandler? Yeah,
that was Chandler's 5.
That was Chandler. Oh my goodness. All right, my number 5, and this is a movie that I feel like it could drop in and out of the number 5 spot. My top 4 are pretty settled. But number 5 is All Quiet on the Western Front. I am someone who never read the book. I've never even seen the original All Quiet on the Western Front.
Me either.
Yeah,
there's one with in the 70s too, with Donald Pleasance.
Oh, yeah, Donald Unpleasant. Yes,
I haven't seen either of them.
Yeah. It's obviously infamous. Like, everyone knows All Quiet on the Western Front, at least tangentially. It's something you've heard of at the very least. And damn, do I love an anti-war movie that like gets the anti part correct? This is probably the quintessential anti-war movie of the 21st century so far. We have a ways to go, but obviously, Come and See is the best of the best.
Can't be topped.
A brutal film, but this is pretty brutal. Like the opening scene is just a masterful piece of filmmaking, and I want to just quickly make the point that this is a good piece of propaganda. This is a year of propaganda films and when I say that, I don't mean like negative or positive. Someone has a very specific political, ideological, philosophical agenda, and they are making a movie around that. And this expertly illustrates that by showing and not telling. It tells pretty obviously. Like it's obviously an anti-war movie.
Very cleverly intercut. Yeah.
Yeah. It's never like, oh my God, war is bad. No character ever like outright says it. It's always through interesting ways of presenting scenes, and it's that message is like shown to you in a few different ways over the film. It's never like repeating the same idea. It's exploring that perspective. And we mentioned the score earlier. It felt like whale noises. It felt like Kanye West does.
It literally feels like a Kanye song at the beginning. It's so
loved
weird.
It kind of like caught me off guard at the beginning, but then I like slowly was like, I want to hear more of this. There's like this very specific like that happens. Like, give me more of that. When's the next time I'm gonna?
And a lot of
it's
just random
almost,
spurts of drum.
Well, it sounds like a machine gun too. It's like a snare, like, and it sounds
almost,
like a semi-automatic.
I'm pretty sure Chandler and I have talked about Battles Without Honor and Humanity on the podcast before, but that's a movie where like it has one theme and it just keeps using that theme as like an indication of when shit's going down. This is also kind of like that, where it has like this very interesting musical cue where, oh, shit's gonna go down. It's very different from Battles Without Honor and Humanity. It's very serious, but I love the score. It's nominated, isn't it? Nominated for best score?
I think so.
I didn't think it was going to get nominated. Like it's so weird. It's a really eccentric, quirky piece of music. Anyway, it's also gorgeously shot. There's
a lot of great oneers.
Yeah,
and it feels like a horror movie in the way it's shot and the score, kind of. And
totally,
we're spoiled this year for really well shot movies. Not just in terms of like great photography, which it's easy to see. Like, oh, this is just a great sunset that someone pointed a camera at. You didn't have to do much, but also like well choreographed blocked shots that are intentionally planned out. And this has everything. It's great.
Totally. One quick thing about All Quiet too is, so I started researching, like, because I read it in high school and I was like, what did they add? And there's like a whole subplot with the political subplot with what's his name?
Glorious Bastards.
Daniel Brühl.
Yep. He's great.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's also in a movie called Goodbye Lenin. That's really good.
Yes.
But that is just made up for the movie. Like, that's not even in the book. And I didn't remember it from the book. And it's great. It's a great
one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah. And it serves as a great break from being on the front lines. And it, like Jacob said, it's a great set of propaganda, and it's based, and it's awesome. I really did come around to the score too after I was caught off guard the first like 20 minutes or so. Yeah.
I'm going to make one last quick note to anyone listening who has any beef. I've heard people say like, oh, this is a bad adaptation. Fuck you.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I mean, people are like, oh my goodness, this is not a good adaptation of All Quiet on the Western Front. It is a loose adaptation at best. So if it's a loose adaptation, why are you complaining? First off. Second off.
It's expressing the same thing through a different medium.
I'm happy. Like, if anything, I think that's a good thing for a movie to like take ideas and the kernel of plot and narrative and kind of do its own thing. I'd rather a movie be true to what the director wants to do than be true to a book and kind of be this Frankenstein push and pull between a book and what the filmmaker wants. So.
I agree.
Totally.
Cool. Okay. My number 4 is Everything Everywhere. Does anyone else have this?
Yes.
Okay. So should I talk about it now?
But where? Is it higher?
It's number 4. Oh, I see what you're saying.
For you, Sonju?
Mine is higher, yes. Yes.
Then we'll wait a second.
Okay.
All right.
Sonju.
Is it mine now?
Yep.
My number 4 is Barbarian.
Wow.
That's a great movie.
Based.
Yes, one of my
God.
it could be my favorite theater experience. I don't know. There was a lot of great ones this year, but
Fucking
shout out Whitest Kids You Know.
Yeah.
Shout out Kid Beer.
Shout out Kid Beer. Kid Beer is one of the best. Or the Sniper, the corporate Sniper. I forget which one.
Oh,
it is.
that one's good. That one's good.
But like the shit poster to like clever horror director pipeline. We got Jordan Peele, and now we got Zach Krager.
And there's some shit posting in this movie.
There is. It's fucking hilarious. It's legitimately scary.
It is.
I mean, I get scared at movies, but I don't get scared at like every horror movie. And I was like, there's some shit in this that is like deeply scary.
Can I also just say, in terms of pure editing, I think the funniest edit of the entire year is when we finally see Justin Long. Because it's one of those things that you go in, and as me and Sonju especially were like, we know Justin Long's going to be in this, but when? And when it happens, it's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's so bold, and I just appreciate it so much. It's basically 2 movies.
Mm-hmm.
It has some good commentary. It's funny. It's scary. Great performances. We got Skarsgård in there. Justin Long. It's one of the best.
It has like the
of the year.
structure of a Whitest Kids You Know sketch. There's like a really, really
Yeah.
long one where it starts as one thing and just gets fucking absurd.
Yeah, they never know how to end their sketches, so it just gets like
Yeah.
insane.
I would say my
thoroughly
only
enjoyed it.
gripe with it, well, not my only, one of my biggest gripes with it was just, I think the first act wasn't going to hold up on rewatches. Like, since you already know where, like, it's the second 2/3 of the movie is just completely different. Like, it's just in every way. And so the first one is just the first act so much setup to what ultimately isn't really much.
I mean,
I don't think
I don't know. I think it's
matters.
still well made. There's some hints at what's happening. The performances are good. It's well
but the
paced.
tension that they're going for in the first act, I feel like wasn't. I think knowing what it comes out to, I don't know. It's hard.
But
to
could you say that about anything?
No, because I'm saying it's like a complete red herring, I guess. No, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it is, but I still think it's well made. It's still,
I guess if the reveal was different, just more bombastic, it would still hold up.
I think there's some good
Or-
atmosphere in the beginning part.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, with the rain.
I still
and-
loved it. I'm just saying.
And they shot it in Bulgaria, which is
That's
insane.
what's
because
wild.
That's
it
crazy.
looks like Detroit. Crazy.
Yeah.
Bulgaria, Detroit is Bulgaria, confirmed.
They're the same.
Yeah.
We have achieved Eastern Europe in the United States. I don't know. Okay, so I'm so happy you put this on your list, Sanjay. It's very unexpected. I did not expect this year.
Pull the DJ.
My
Here.
Love Barbarian. It's goated.
it's number 26 on my list currently, and as we're talking, I'm thinking about raising it because don't shake your head.
I'm shaking.
I really love this movie. I am not a horror person at all. I do not seek out horror movies. I do not care for most of them. I watched The Black Phone earlier this year, which is kind of a horror movie. It's a different kind. It's like a low level.
It's marketed
horror.
as one.
Yeah.
It's more of a thriller than it is a horror film. And there's a few good jump scares in that, but this just was like the best I've had with the horror genre in such a long time. It was honestly refreshing. And the more I think about it, the more I like it. And there are some scenes. This does the like, for me, horror isn't about like jump scares or like creepy monsters. Although this has the old woman in the basement is a creepy monster. This has what I think is like true horror, which is just like unknown dread that is just coming at you. There's just something that is wrong and it is coming for you specifically. And those scenes, those introductory scenes in the basement are some of the most butt clenched moments I've had in years. And
Totally.
it reminded me of what the horror genre could be and why I should probably watch some more movies from that, although they probably won't be as good. It's so creative. So
Sounds like
wonderful. I
someone
loved
needs to watch my number one of last year, Malignant.
it. Maybe. Okay.
Crap.
You know, you caught me at a good time. I'll say I'll watch it eventually.
Yes.
Maybe not anytime soon, but I'll watch it.
Out.
Barbarian is a great movie.
The part with the
Great.
tape ruler, incredible.
That's also
Yeah,
that's
so funny.
oh my god.
Funny and scary.
Incredible reaction videos that have come out of that movie.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah,
the tasteful
bitch.
F slur. Tasteful S slur.
And yeah, Justin Long's such a piece of shit.
Oh
and
my God.
It's
I
just
hope-
great.
I hope this means he's coming back because
It
I
is.
fucking love Justin Long.
Yeah,
He's
he's
the
great.
best part of all the movies that he's in. Weirdly, like has a pretty storied career in horror stuff.
True.
Yeah, what you have seen Dragon Maid Hall, right, Sanju?
Yes, not in years since
I've
I
seen
was
it.
like 14.
It's a good movie.
But yeah. Shout out
Uh,
Sam Raimi.
Was that number 4?
That was number
That was
4.
my number 4.
My
We're
number
gonna
4
stop.
is
You have 2 minutes.
oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was gonna say it's a movie that I know we have up higher in the list, but it's Tar. I'm sure we'll talk about Tar.
We'll talk
again.
about it. Yeah. All
We'll
right.
probably talk about it.
My number 4 is Everything Everywhere All at Once, a movie that I know is a little higher on the list. So, wow, we're moving up to number 3, DJ.
Okay, my number 3 is Babylon, which I'm sure nobody has.
Oh my god!
I know I'm the only one
We'll
here
be
who
back
loves that
after
movie.
this commercial break.
Gives me
with
time to
more
ruminate
about
on that.
Babylon.
Look at this. Oh, it's backwards.
Whoa, Alan.
It says Alan
Alan.
in space. No one can
Alan
hear you
in
space.
space. We're gonna pour my 4th beer of the evening.
Smart.
Drinking alcohol on
Son,
YouTube?
Can we do that?
I don't
Why not?
know.
We're doing it anyway.
Red Letter Media does it.
Oh,
True,
yeah, that's right.
true.
Look, we're not monetizing any of this. You think we got the audience numbers to monetize our shit? No. Although, speaking of which, we recently reached 500 subscribers.
Congrats.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
Without me
Cool.
noticing. So I haven't posted anything in like 2 months, but thank you very much for anyone who's subscribed.
Nice. Okay, so did I go?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Babylon.
Tell us
All
about
right,
a movie that is not
Babylon.
on any of our radars. For
Yeah,
It's not
nobody.
even on my 2022 list.
Jeez. Okay,
I
yeah.
should've had it.
I am just on board with how just all the chaos of this and each like set piece, like from the wild parties to the wild sets, and then how it progressively gets classier and classier as the movie goes and time progresses. And I think it's a good way of showing, not telling, what's going on with these characters. And I think I just love that they love movies and Hollywood's preying on that, and they're pretending it's all about the talent, but they just want to control you and squeeze out all the talent that you have until audiences just don't care about you anymore, and then they just spit you out. And I think that's just a really cool way. The way they showed that was really cool because I had just had a fun time too, and I uncontrollably laughing at several parts in this movie. It's the funniest of the year for me.
There's one sequence in it that is fucking hilarious.
Dude,
There's
I
a
was
few that
dying.
are really fucking funny.
I
Yeah.
will shit on you.
The first sound test and all that. Yeah. Oh my god. I was just dying in the theater. I was the only one too. I mean, there's only like 6-7 people in the theater, but I was laughing so hard.
You know,
that's all I got to say about that.
Even though I'm not like as big of a fan of as you as this movie, I do respect it for just being fucking out there. It's
Yeah, I wasn't
definitely
expecting.
it's really ambitious. It's really
Yeah.
not what I was expecting when I heard about this. This project was announced like 2 years ago, so I was expecting something a little more melodramatic, a little more maybe, I don't want to say genuine, but a little more. I don't know. This was just like wild. It was crazy. It was frenetic. It was really fast paced. Even the stuff that when I'm watching and thinking this doesn't need to be in here, I was really enjoying because it's still. Even the stuff that doesn't really matter in the main focus, the main story is still really well constructed. There's like 2 or 3 just like absolutely fucking insane scenes. I'm glad that he got to burn this much money.
Me too.
I can see why people don't like it, and even though it's not like my favorite, I respect it a lot just for its ambition and filmmaking.
Yeah. It's
And
like
I love Diego Luna, or no, not Diego Luna. What's his
No.
name?
No.
That's from that guy from Andor.
it is. I think it was Diego.
It's Diego something.
Hold on, I have it right here. Diego Calva.
Yeah, that's right. Diego Luna is the guy from Andor, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
yeah,
Mama También.
it's like it's a hate letter to Hollywood, but I mean, it is also a love letter.
Yeah, because at the end,
Yeah, the ending.
You only hate what you love.
Yeah,
true.
I think that ending is so frustrating and unnecessary because I love Damien Chazelle. I love all of his other movies. I think the ending it's a perfect ending if you just have him in the theater and you just cut to him crying at the movie he's watching. We get it. And I feel like it's so on the nose for like 5 minutes at the end. I just found it completely unnecessary, but
I did see the explanation of the ending montage in that those are not necessarily like the best movies ever made, but they are technical achievements in filmmaking.
the evolution of it.
Yeah, the evolution of cinema, which is why fucking Avatar.
Yeah.
it goes from
2009 is in there.
Yeah.
Which makes it better. Like I thought it was just entirely absurd the first time. It was like, okay, I guess there was some more thought behind it than I gave the montage credit for, but still.
Yeah, and it's him realizing like it's like all these Hollywood's gonna keep progressing and changing and everything. Like you have to move on.
More people besides him are gonna get fucked.
Yeah.
True.
It's reinforcing that whole speech that the journalist gives to Brad Pitt too.
Yeah, I'm sympathetic to the themes of the movie for sure. I just think that ending montage was unnecessary, but I think there's a lot of sequences in this movie that I really enjoy, like the sound check, or the first
the war scene.
The war scene's great. That whole sequence where he has to go get I forget,
the camera,
more film or something.
Yeah,
or another
all that
camera.
stuff out there is awesome.
Yeah, all that shit's great. Spike Jonze, right? He's
Yep,
the director.
Spike Jonze. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff in there I really enjoy. I love the performances, but I just felt that it was
Score was good.
Score is also great. I just think it's bloated, and I'm sympathetic to its ideas and its message. I just feel like it could have been a bit more focused and a bit shorter, I'd say. Mainly focused.
The only scene, the only sequence, shall I say, in the film that I actually liked and thought was well crafted was the day of filmmaking scene out in the desert with
the
war and with him getting the reel and everything and the different. That was great. Like that was the one time in the movie where I could just let go and enjoy myself. The rest of the time was one of the most painful experiences I had in the theater, along with Elvis, in terms of I just wanted to leave. And I was just rooted to my chair because I couldn't leave. I'm not going to leave in the middle of the movie. But I did not have an enjoyable experience watching Babylon.
I will say I felt the runtime the first time I watched it, but the second time I did not. Okay, that's all I got to say about Babylon, though.
That's your number 3?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Number 3, Sonju.
You trying to determine what my top 2 are?
I know what one of them is. My number 3 is The Batman, which we already have an episode about. Right, you guys already have.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it feels like forever ago.
It feels like forever ago. It was almost exactly a year ago. So I'll keep it brief, but I'm a Batman freak. I will be watching anything with Batman in it. But I thought this was a fantastic way to reintroduce Batman, despite us having so many comic book movies, so many Batmen, and like really understanding what the character, like obviously the Nolan trilogy does too, but understands the character in a unique way that hasn't been done before. Pattinson may be my favorite. I mean, if he has 3 movies as good as this, he could be my favorite Batman. Goated Batmobile. Paul Dano's great. Effectively kind of talking about the criticisms of Batman, like is he making a difference? Batman being kind of a nepotism baby, being a billionaire's son, is like not understanding like crime is a result of people's lived experiences and not like their material conditions. I thought that was kind of an interesting framing, especially with Catwoman. It's fucking fun. It's goated, dude. I love that movie. It could easily be my number one. I saw it 3 times.
I still only seen it the once, but I do agree. Like by far my favorite live action depiction of Batman. I think I only really find Batman interesting when he's learning to be Batman. Like this kind of Batman, I find really interesting. Either that or Justice League, like the animated Batman, I really enjoy. But this is like this movie and a few other movies that we'll get to. Reignited my like passion and love for blockbuster filmmaking because holy shit, it's like the best looking superhero movie maybe ever.
And it's a COVID movie. Which is even more insane.
That's absolutely insane.
This is what this has in common with the eternal daughter of all fucking movies, is that they just get like the gothic horror vibes.
Well, because as much as I love
the atmosphere,
as much as I love The Dark Knight, and I do agree The Dark Knight's just a little bit better, like that doesn't feel like Gotham, it feels like Chicago. It's still fine because Gotham is half of like the look, half of like the essence. And in The Dark Knight, it has the essence of, you can feel the corruption or whatever. But this looks and feels like Gotham. It's like fucking Seven. It's what I really love about it though is I don't know. I feel like the whole superhero genre has oftentimes either goes towards like the Marvel just visual garbage or the Zack Snyder super edgy stuff. But this was edgy and grounded in a way that I wish more people would like try, where it feels real. It doesn't feel like a sort of harsh, gritty depiction of reality. It feels like an actual place. Paul Dano's great. It's like the one Batman movie where I find Batman like to be the most interesting character.
Yeah, that intro, the first 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, I'm so in. Like, I just knew the movie was going to be great. Like, just
emo Batman is the best Batman.
It is.
True. I just felt it was really bloated the first time, but I gotta watch it again.
I agree.
I've been having the itch.
I agree that there's parts that don't really matter. I don't care about the John Turturro stuff, but the stuff that really slaps, I'm just like, why can't all blockbusters be like this?
I was just about to say, I love the John Turturro stuff. Not that I like love it, but it's John Turturro. How could I not like that stuff? And like, I have reservations about the movie. I have, it could have pacing problems and all that. But whatever I can possibly say about it is just completely blown away by the fact that it is a Batman movie, a big studio blockbuster movie that's 3 hours long. For the most part, makes use of that 3 hours in very good ways, very creative ways. Is a film that has a passion behind it, that has a story, that has atmosphere and everything, that has great performances. Jeffrey Wright, John Turturro.
Oh, dude, he's so good.
Everyone.
Jeffrey Wright is also my favorite Gordon.
He's so great.
Just like Chandler saying about like reigniting passion. This is like reigniting passion, just like the simple passion for blockbuster superhero movies. This is what like I love. And Marvel killed that off a while ago, and this like was just a breath of fresh air in that whole genre. And regardless of any criticisms I could make against the movie, it's just great. It barely missed my top 10. It was my number 11.
Yeah, it's my number 11.
Whoa.
I feel bad.
And speaking of goated scores, I mean, holy shit.
New iconic Batman theme.
It is. Totally. That's my number 3.
Number 3, Chandler.
Mine is Banshees of Inisherin.
Go check out our review of The Batman. I will put a link somewhere. Great, Chandler.
Banshees of Inisherin. Does anyone else have that?
I had it at 7.
Higher, yes.
Oh.
You have it higher? Okay, then I'll wait.
Oh, cool.
Number 3, yes?
Yeah, you're 3.
Yep.
Okay. Decision to Leave. Anyone has it higher? I doubt it. Great. Decision to Leave. Oh my God.
My number 8.
Number 16.
Yeah. That
something like that.
Chandler and I disagree about a few things this year, but that's the one that hurts me. Like Decision to Leave, Park Chan-wook. This is return to form. I was mentioning this to Chandler the other day that there's a few movies that I want to like more than I can. And The Handmaiden, Park Chan-wook's last movie, is a movie that I admire so much. There's so much beauty and craft and everything in the story. I love it. I just find it intolerably boring, despite everything I like about it. And this was just such a great return to form for me for Park Chan-wook, and it's such a weird, quirky love story of a movie. It's sort of a murder mystery. It's sort of a thriller.
It feels Hitchcocky.
Yeah, it's very Hitchcocky.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
definitely a Korean noir film, a neo-Korean noir, a new genre. Let's call it that.
But it's insane too.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah, like it has. It certainly. I can see like the comment like it has like this weird pacing thing where it certainly it turns into a different movie 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like what makes it so interesting. Like every fault that I would theoretically have with the movie just makes it more interesting, makes it more unique, and gives it its personality to it. And on my rewatch of it, there's just like this really great, like I'd say chemistry, but that's narrowing it down too much between the two leads. But the scenes between the two of them are just so interesting to watch, especially on rewatches, of the dynamic between, it's set up as like, oh, one of them's the suspect and one of them's the policeman, but just the way they interact and way that interaction develops, and the way that Park Chan-wook uses like the themes of water and mountain and everything, and it's I don't know what to say more than that, but I just love it. It's just so much fun.
Also
And
helps that
also the man with the knife and the chainmail glove.
It's got some goated shots. I love the shots of him texting. The fact that the camera is in the phone looking at him on the screen.
Yes,
pressing on the
text
screen.
This is a my God, like
Didn't
this
get
is a movie that gets
cinematography, though.
texting right, that gets technology correct. Like
The
there's so many
random
movies.
chase scene too, where he has the camera strapped to like it's right in front of his face, and when he's walking, when he's running, it looks so goofy, but I love it.
Park Chan-wook just literally like threw everything on the table. This is, I think, the most creative cinematography of the year, where he was just like, I'm just gonna fucking go for it. There's a shot where it's like a fisheye lens perspective of the dead man's eye looking up the cliff with ants crawling on it.
Yeah.
It's so disgusting and wonderful.
I think.
And-
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I did just want to like reiterate the fact that like the technology in the film, the use of AirPods, and it's just so seamless. And this is something that I had a positive for Parasite as well, is that it just Korean films just seem to get technology and just seamlessly integrating technology in a way that doesn't feel cringe or outdated the second it is produced, in the way that like a lot of American movies feel. It's just there. And he uses it for the narrative, but in a way that is also organic and character based, and it's just wonderful, expert filmmaking.
My favorite shot of the year maybe is that split diopter shot reverse shot where it's like the
Mirror.
one-way mirror is fucking insane. Where like it goes from foreground reacting to background, switch the focus so it's the other way around. Like he's pulling out every trick. And even though I don't love the story, I think what makes it entertaining is that from scene to scene, you don't know what the fuck's going to happen purely from a filmmaking standpoint. And this movie has like big Murakami energy, which I do appreciate.
It's it's almost like the romantic version of Memories of Murder. It's definitely like
Yeah,
police,
That's what I've heard.
a quirky police procedural. Yeah,
it's cute.
Cool.
so watch it,
Um,
DJ.
I've seen it. It's brand
Oh,
new.
have you?
Yeah, you talked about it
No, I
earlier.
haven't seen it.
Oh, you're the one that hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's DJ's fault.
What? Why?
We'll get into it.
Oh wait, I think I know. Okay. My number 2 is Triangle of Sadness, which I don't think it's any higher
Wow.
on anyone else's
It
list.
is not. It's my number. What did I say?
It's my
10.
number 13.
It's my number
Okay.
X.
You haven't seen it, Chandler. I think you'd like it.
I think I would too. I just
Yeah.
It
He was-
was,
I caught this so
was
late.
my number 12, but EO bumped it down a spot.
This solidified 2022 is my favorite year in quite some time, even surpassing 2019 possibly. Although I don't know, it just last year
Nothing
had
we'll
like
talk
an
about.
unprecedented amount of number of 5 stars. This was 3 years this year, or 3 movies this year had 5 stars.
you had
for
3.
me. Yeah, most of the
I
time
had
it's 2.
4, 5. I had 5.
Oh, geez. Okay.
What did I
Um,
have
I had
before
one.
we continue? I had
And
3. Oh no, 4.
Dang. Okay. I used
One
to
of
be really
them.
stingy with my 5s. I don't think I am anymore.
I have 2 4.5 stars above a 5-star.
Same.
That's insane. That's criminal.
Criminal. Anyway, DJ.
Okay. Yeah. So I love the script, the themes, the comedy. Literally from the opening photo shoot interview thing leading to the dinner, and then the hotel conversation. I was in. Like, this wasn't even the meat of the movie, and I'm already so enthralled. I should also mention that I worked a service job for like 7 years, so it was really satisfying getting to see what happens. in this
Totally.
movie.
Totally. Yeah.
Really therapeutic. Mocking the rich is becoming like a common theme in movies, and I'm here for it.
Pretty based.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all I got.
Mocking the 1% and like how vapid a lot of their social interactions are, and like that. I mean, obviously the puking sequence is great.
And just like the whole when they made them go swimming, which like just ruins the whole day, everyone's plans. I've been there.
It has such an interesting sense of humor too. Like, I love that little like argument with Woody Harrelson where one of the customers is asking him to clean the sails, and he's like,
yeah, they don't have him.
We don't. It's a motorized vehicle or vessel. It's so good. And you know, it's kind of after the movie, I was researching the actors, and one of the main actors had like passed like right after the movie came out.
It's crazy. She was like 31.
Holy crap!
Yeah, literally. I think this movie got delayed because of COVID, I think. But yeah, so that was kind of a bummer because I thought her performance was incredible. I don't remember her name, unfortunately. Anyway, she was incredible. The main actor is also great. I like the structure of it. I know some people don't like how it shifts. I thought that was very interesting and not what I expected at all. I thought the movie was going to end like, I don't know, half hour before it did, and I was happy to watch another half hour.
Me too. The trailer spoiled it, so I knew that.
I didn't
what
know
was going to happen,
it.
but I didn't know that it would keep going the way it did, which was a pleasant surprise.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I didn't know anything about it other than it. Did it win the Palme d'Or?
It did, yeah.
Yeah. That's all.
I want to watch his other movies now too, because The Square did as well.
Yeah, I forgot it won the Palme d'Or.
What was that? I
Interesting.
always forget what that. It got an American remake. We've talked
about Force
Majeure.
Majeure.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about that
with Will Ferrell and fucking Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah. But yeah, I loved it. It was higher on my list, but
yeah, Triangle Sadness has been making its way down on my list. Not for anything against the film, just because I've been seeing stuff I like more.
Other stuff.
I really appreciate it. I knew it was coming. I wish I kind of didn't know the switch in the middle of the movie was coming. Spoilers for Chandler. Sorry. But when it was there, I was like, great. I love this. I love this new shakeup of everything, because it felt like the ideas of the film hadn't quite been fully realized or fully explored in the ways, and it provides a good flip, a different way of looking at what the movie was talking about earlier on. The issue is that it does lose steam for me. The flip isn't the issue; it's the pacing of it later on. And I think the last 15 minutes of the movie, I just wasn't as engaged by the rest of it, and I think it could have ended in a not literally the ending, but just kind of made its way to the ending in a stronger way. But that's really my only big complaint about the movie. Loved it. Love Woody Harrelson.
He's so great.
His scenes are all incredible.
Yeah, it's interesting what the director is like seemingly asserting about hierarchies. I'm like, I don't want to get into spoilers, but it's almost like he's saying they're inevitable, and it's kind of an interesting commentary when you think about obviously the first half of the movie, but I feel like the waters of that get a little murky, like if you really think about it, but I still had a lot of fun. I think it's a great satire. It's almost a thriller. It's great. Yeah, very funny.
It's one of the surprising amount of movies that has a donkey in it this year.
True.
Oh, great. Dude.
Poor donkey.
Donkey of the Year contestant as well. Yeah.
Ass of the Year?
Ass of the year. Nothing is topping Banshees for me. I don't care what. I didn't see EO, but there's no way.
EO is all about a donkey.
I know it probably
Her name is Io.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Anyway, any
Okay,
more thoughts on Triangle of
no.
Sadness? Also, there I'll put it. Maybe I'll put it. But if you look at my particular ranking of the year, you can see all like the custom posters I've selected. There's some great posters for Triangle of Sadness, but I love the one where it's a cracked martini glass and has the ship in it.
I'll check it
It's
out.
just great.
Oh,
there's
nice.
a lot of great, well designed posters for the film, which is always nice to see.
Nice.
Yes, number
Is it-
3 for Sanju,
My number 2.
or number 2.
We're
Yeah,
at
two.
yeah.
We're number.
Oh my god,
My number
yeah.
2 is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Sweet. That's my number 4.
It's my number
Um,
4 as well. So let's.
Okay.
Where's it for you, Chandler?
Chandler's no lower, way lower.
I don't think it's on channel.
14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Oh. Okay, let's talk about it.
So we can talk about it. Well,
It's good. I like it a lot.
yeah, I think it's. I mean, what hasn't been said about this movie already?
Mhm.
I just think it's basically. I mean, it has the sets and costumes of like, I don't know, 5 movies probably.
Yeah.
Like the scale of this movie is incredible. It's funny. It has a very like idiosyncratic sense of like quirky humor that works for me. I know not everyone likes the Daniels sense of humor.
Mhm.
I thought
It's a
most of it
vocal
was-
minority, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, most people love this movie.
No,
But the people who don't
totally.
They're very
make you
vocal.
know they don't
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah,
It's incredibly
I-
cringe.
I don't even know why. Like it's so like I get like there's an instinct to kind of like react to like so many people love the movie, so you're like, oh well, I want to be a unique person. But it just seems like such a weird movie to have
Yeah.
a negative reaction to because it's just such a positive.
It's
movie?
it's such a positive movie. It's like an original movie that's like a low budget action movie that has like taken the world by storm. It has Michelle Yeoh in it, Daniel K. What is his name?
Kwan, right?
Yeah, Kwan is fucking no, not Daniel Kwan. Hui Kwan
Kwan. Oh, sorry.
is
Yeah.
also incredible. Like I don't know, like I get there are parts of this movie that maybe a little too much, but I'd much rather have something like this.
I could definitely see how it's not someone's cup of tea, but to like actively hate or to like attack people who love it, it just seems like you're on the wrong track. And
It's also just so fucking well made.
it's so
Yeah.
well made,
It's
The editing is
insane.
insane.
so well edited, such great sets and costumes and
Mhm.
makeup, and the VFX are clever. And I don't know what the budget for this was, but it looks better than a lot of blockbusters. Most
Well, I mean, when you
blockbusters.
compare it to the other big budget multiverse movie this year or last year. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Sam Raimi, but that was like dog shit.
Yeah, this looks
Not
bad.
your fault, but oh my god.
And I think the movie
Yeah.
captures this idea that a post-COVID, like post 2016, I don't know, like just it captures this like essence of nihilism, optimistic nihilism that I think is present like in our generation, especially, where it's like with this like idea that we're not the center of the universe. That can be like the most depressing thing of all time, or you can choose to like, I don't know, have a positive perspective of it, like, oh, nothing matters, but also nothing matters, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly.
You can choose to like, wallow in it, or you can choose to be like kindness and love, and I think that's a really beautiful message, and it's very fun. I love like the kung fu movie inspiration. They're very well choreographed, very well shot.
The butt plug fight,
Butt plug fight,
the fanny pack fight.
dude. That is
Detective
That's cool.
Crashmore is in the movie.
Are you dumb?
All the homages in this are great. Like,
Dude, I want to see the little Twin Peaks couple
Oh,
frames,
yeah. Yeah.
which is so
That's crazy.
cool.
the
This is another
Wong
one
Kar
of those.
Wai,
Yeah, the Wong Kar
Oh, yeah,
Wai.
that
Wong
Wong
Kar
Kar Wai
Wai.
sequence.
This is another one of those movies this year that are unabashedly philosophical or political, however you want to say it. It's a piece of propaganda. Movies. Everything,
every-
is propaganda.
every movie
Everything is propaganda.
What's this one?
Yeah,
saying,
but
though?
propaganda
But-
to me feels inherently political.
No, I mean
Is it
that's
more
not what
philosophical?
That's
propaganda
the-
is. I mean everything is political. You can make it, and I think this is distinctly political, especially when there is a group in this
the
country
text
that is politicizing gender identity, sexual identity.
True.
And this is a movie that talks about this, so it is political whether we want it to be or not.
Everything is.
Unfortunately.
It's just whether what people say is political. What they usually mean by that is it's like like very obviously saying a like political message that is the main message of the movie. Whereas like we'll get into it when we talk about another movie on this list. But yeah. Anyway, sorry, Jacob. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I don't know what to say about this movie other than like it's been kind of like coasting on that first viewing. It's one of the only movies in my top 10 that I did not get around to a second viewing. So it has been like I have been obstinate about moving it from the fourth spot partly because that it is going. I always just appreciate movies that are going for an idea very strongly and make their philosophical case using cinema for the idea that it is presenting. And this just does it in such a fun and interesting way about nihilism and love and finding meaning in the universe and so many things and ideas that, I've thought about myself and that, I've read actual philosophy on and stuff like that. And this is just balls to the walls fun, but it is a deeply philosophical film. And I don't know. I have reservations about the pacing. This is the year of movies that I think could have been paced better. All Quiet on the Western Front, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Broker. There's a bunch of movies. The Batman, but that just win me over in spite of any issues I have or any like slumps in the film. It's just so much fun.
Yeah,
that
it's a lot of fun.
I just will overlook any issues that I had. And the issues I had are it's basic. They're minor compared to just how
easy
much
to forgive.
how much I love it.
It is a lot. Like I didn't rewatch it, and that might be just a reflection of like I don't want to think about existential shit right now, so maybe I won't rewatch it. But it's a fucking great movie.
I kept trying to get Nate to watch it, and I refused to rewatch it until he did. So that's you can
it's
blame
just
Nate for me.
Oh god,
I really want to see it in a theater again. I don't know if I
think
want
it's
to watch it
playing.
at home.
I'm almost
But also the commentary podcast I listen to that just uploads DVD commentaries. They just uploaded the commentary track for this one.
I'm positive.
interesting.
I think it came back to theaters once it was nominated for the Oscars, and then it kind of fell off. At least where we're at, and I'm sure it's going to be back once it wins Oscars. It will win Oscars.
It could win Best Picture. It's the crowd favorite to win Best
Yeah, it's
Picture.
got a big chance.
I think so too. Crazy. Love it. One thing I will say in regards to its Oscar nominations, all of them deserved except for Jamie Lee Curtis. Why? Why her?
Really? Oh yeah.
I don't think she's bad in the movie.
What's her name?
I think
didn't get
she's
it,
really
right?
good. No, I did not think that the Stephanie Sue was gonna get nominated, and I'm
Stephanie Sue.
ecstatic that she did. She's fucking amazing. Jamie Lee Curtis,
she did.
she's good, but like, I don't know. This is the single one digit good thing the Russos have ever done for cinema.
They produced it, right?
They did, yeah.
Yeah, Jamie Lee should have got nominated for Halloween Ends, not for this. I'm just kidding. No.
You're joking, but she's better in Halloween Ends than she is in this.
What?
Not that she's bad in either.
She doesn't have a lot of screen time in this.
Yeah, exactly.
She's great.
I should say I don't dislike her. I just think
Judd
it's
Hirsch
odd.
didn't
Okay.
have that much screen time in the Fabelmens.
But he
and
fucking
likewise,
owned
yeah.
every second of that scene.
I don't know. Jamie
David
Lee Curtis
Lynch.
is pretty iconic
Yeah, I could
in
see
everything.
David
I'm
Lynch.
not
Throw
saying
David Lynch.
I'm not
David Lynch
necessarily
should have got
saying
nominated.
Honestly,
that Jamie Lee Curtis has an award-winning performance, but I'm saying it's pretty iconic. Like for the amount of screen time she has,
the look is iconic.
you remember.
I've only seen it once. I don't remember anything that she does aside from the fact that she works at the IRS.
She
But
like
maybe that's
I
on me.
remember.
fights. Okay, anyway, what's your number 2?
Two.
My
Was it
number
2?
2 is Nope.
Whoa,
Wow.
okay. Holy crap, I didn't know.
Nope is
This high?
so fucking sick. I watched it the first time. I liked it a lot. I enjoyed it as a just a creature movie. It's an alien invasion movie, but I didn't know what to think of it because let's face it, for a big budget movie that everyone wanted to go see. This is weird.
Yeah.
If you,
Flying
my favorite,
buttholes.
yeah, it's an Evangelion. That's why I love it.
Yeah.
If you Google the movie, go to the Wikipedia page or whatever. Well, I love it because it says Nope is a American neo-Western science fiction horror.
So many genres.
It is everything.
Though. Yeah.
And I love it. It's one of those movies that works as just a straightforward alien invasion movie, but the more and more you like read into it, the more and more you realize what he's doing with this story and these themes of spectacle and our sort of like our commodification of spectacle and the effort to capture it for cinema. It's like something that I think really rewards a second watch. It's something that is like deceptively dense in a way that blockbusters just aren't anymore. The bar was raised earlier for the Batman just being a blockbuster that looked like they gave a shit. Nope is one that looks like they gave a shit, but also went the extra mile to make it something a little more esoteric and strange.
To the point where audiences just didn't understand
exactly.
it meant
but that's
something else.
You
that
can
it did.
still understand what's going on. It's an alien. We have to get rid of it. It's a brilliant subversion of the alien invasion thing.
Totally
talk about that thing in the farmhouse. That's like the scariest fucking scene in the movie.
It's so fucking scary.
It's really creepy until you get the other things that are a little more visceral, like them all going up into the alien and hearing those sounds. The best sound design movie of the year when that thing is fucking flying around.
Just
when I wear my sunglasses at night, is playing slowly and you can hear they're screaming. It's like it's
so
it's terrifying. I love the iconography of it. I remember when the trailer came out, and it was just Daniel Kaluuya on a horse through like a desert of those fucking used car salesman guys. I just thought, what the fuck? And it's still like, as far as the look of it, it's my favorite of the year. Steven Yeun, he's basically a bit character that doesn't really have anything to do with anything, but he's amazing. The Gordy scene is like,
it's awesome.
So fucking good. I just think it's one of those movies that the more and more time people have to sit with it, the better it'll be. If I had a single complaint, I wish Keith David was in it more. I know why he isn't. I just like Keith David a lot. Definitely my favorite Jordan Peele movie. Low-key kind of a masterpiece. And it went from like 38 all the way to 1, and then it went to 2
insane.
Pretty recently.
Wow.
But really good. I want to watch it again, but fuck.
Yeah.
Something else about Nope that I really love is a pet peeve of mine in a lot of alien movies is why do the aliens gotta be humanoid form? It's like,
exactly.
Why do they have to be green humans? You know what I mean? Which is what I really like about Nope too is it's a creature whose form we can't quite understand. Like, I mean, you know, like a surface level understanding of it, but like its form and its purpose and all these things like are beyond our understanding, and that's what makes it kind of scary. I mean, obviously it's like distracting you and eating you and shit, but like beyond that, we don't really understand it, and that's what's creepy.
Also, it's not an alien that's trying to take over the world or steal from us. He's just hungry.
Yeah,
yeah, it's like
he's
an
just
animal.
Eating.
Yeah,
for the
he's
hungry
an
boy.
And Daniel Kaluuya is just trying to break it like a horse, just like trying to figure out how to stop this thing.
Him and Keke Palmer are so good.
Incredible.
Yeah, good dynamic.
Yeah,
this is another movie that I feel like I should probably give it a rewatch at some point. I have literally nothing negative to say about Nope. It just didn't hit me, didn't like interest me enough to put it on my top 10. But that might change upon a second viewing. We'll see.
I do too.
Yeah. I mean, the Gordy scene is obviously one of the best sequences of the year, like hands down.
I would also just like to say that as far as new directors goes, there are not a lot of directors that you can be sold by name alone. Obviously, you have your usuals, the Shyamalans, the Tarantinos, the Nolans, but it's been a while since we had a director where like you put the director's name before anything else.
Yeah,
and I think that's fucking great.
It's great. It's building an audience that way.
Yeah. I kind of feel like that's the case because it feels like a concerted effort to do that, in that he doesn't really have that much experience behind him. Like, this started with Us, his second movie, essentially. Like, he was famous going into Get Out.
Yeah.
But then Us was like, oh, the director of Get Out.
Yeah.
And I feel like it has been a conscious effort to brand it as him as that kind of director, which he is. Like it fits doing that
For sure.
But yeah, I'm not sure. Like you need. I think there are perhaps directors that are like more. They have more of like the auteur, like you know exactly what you're going to get with them, but they don't brand themselves. They don't like talk about. People don't talk about them in that way, and this has been like I feel like a very conscious effort on Jordan Peele's part and other people's parts to.
Well,
make
he's
him.
a studio director too, like Universal.
Yeah.
He's very bold too. I mean, Get Out, he used that to make something way different in Us, and then used that to make something a lot different in Nope. So it's like he's reinventing himself each movie. He has Jordan Peele-isms throughout
Ideological
history,
horror. That's what he does. All right, my number 2. It's a little movie called The Banshees of Inisherin. Does anyone have it at number 1?
No.
I have it at 3.
I guess that's a spoiler. All right, Banshees.
Love it.
Fucking good.
You know,
Great
it's so good.
breakup
I don't even
movie.
need to. I don't even need to say a word. Let's just move on.
What?
I'm joking. This is a movie I rewatched. First time I watched it normally. Second time I watched it high. Great experience.
It's very
Second
funny
time
with a beer.
it holds up. That's the thing. Where like I wasn't sure. I was really hesitant to say it holds up. Like the first time, you're like, okay, this is neat. It's very simple. It's very like stripped back. There's not much that goes on. It's only a few locations, only a few characters, and all that. And I was worried, you know, it might not be as engaging the second time. And let me tell you, it's if not as engaging, it's more engaging the second time.
I had the exact same cycle. It's weird because when I watched it specifically, I was like, okay, I like it, but I feel like I got everything I could possibly get out of it. But I don't know. I think seeing it again when you understand who Podrick is specifically, because maybe when you're watching it the first time, you think, okay, is Podrick, maybe he looks boring, but maybe there's something deeper to him. No. He's just kind of an idiot, but like a happy one. And the movie like tries to vilify him for just being a simple idiot. And watching the way that Brendan Gleeson can't make him the bad guy is really entertaining.
Yeah. I was trying to sell this on get my dad to watch it. He'll watch anything. The issue with this is that it's not streaming anywhere that we have access to.
On HBO?
Yeah, but I don't pay for HBO. So he doesn't have HBO. I'm thinking of canceling Netflix once I'm done with the stuff I'm watching on there and getting HBO specifically for him to watch it.
No.
Because I think it's a movie he'd like. And the way that I like as I was talking about it with him, the thing that came to my mind was sometimes the movies that have the most to say the least, like in terms of like how it's presented. It's just so simple and there's so little going on, but I don't really know of many movies that just are just championing kindness as an idea. Everything Everywhere All at Once kind of does that as well in a very different way. Like that's balls to the walls, and this is just pastoral Irish life, the crummy Irish life that they have, just going to get a beer, tending to the farm animals, and that's about it.
That's all you need.
That is all you need. Like this is the prime example of less is more. You don't need to have much to say a lot, and this movie does say a lot. It's very it hits you in the heart. It in a way that doesn't feel manipulative, that earns it, that is just so well made and constructed and directed. And I was listening to the DGA podcast where Martin McDonagh talks about it and talks about like the various locations around Ireland that they stitched together to make one single island, how they like built the pub in the perfect place to have like the perfect sunlight and to be like near the ocean. And it's just,
what was the budget?
Just great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And talk about
another
landscape
really interesting thing,
shots.
I'm sure some of you know, the music, the song that starts and ends the movie isn't even in Irish. It's like a Bulgarian folk song. It just sounds, Martin McDonagh was like, oh, this sounds kind of Irish and I like the way it sounds. So let's put it here.
Yeah, I mean,
I love
this is the golden formula, because In Bruges is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think this is just as good, if not maybe even a little bit better than In Bruges. But Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson, that is a fucking power couple.
And then add on to that Carrie Condon.
Oh my god, she's also
she
and
rules.
Barry Keoghan.
So
This is the first time I've ever liked Barry Keoghan.
Yes.
I not to say that what he was in is bad. He's really good in Killing of a Sacred Deer and The Green Knight. Another
He's
favorite
great in
last
The
year.
Green Knight.
But this is the first time where I watched him. I'm like, okay, I actually kind of like you as an actor. Now, should he be Joker? No, but still really good. I'm really happy he got a acting nomination too. I feel like weird little guys don't usually get it.
He's
such.
I forget who's nominated with him, but I feel like that could be a lock for
Good
dub.
No, well, for supporting, no, that's not him. It's gonna be Ki-hee Kwan.
Oh fuck yeah!
No,
I guess that is supporting technically. Yeah.
I also just like to say that it has my favorite line of dialogue of the year. It's a scene. We're talking about the same one.
I don't know. We might be.
I think I agree.
It's
with what you're gonna say.
with Brendan Gleeson and the priest talking about donkeys. Is it that one?
No, mine was
No,
the,
it's not.
was
There's
the
so
bars,
many good ones.
argument.
I mean, that one too. But I think what makes that one, especially watching it on a second watch, I think at the time I was watching it, I thought, okay, Brendan Gleeson just feels bad about him killing a donkey. He just feels guilty about it. But I think the second time around when I watch it, I think I've seen it 3 times actually. To me, it feels like, oh my God, something this insignificant in the grand scheme of things has had such a profound effect on Patrick or whatever, that maybe the sort of nothingness I fear isn't so nothing at all. I think that's the reading I got from it. And yeah, it's the, line says to the priest or whatever, but there's a lot of really great fucking lines.
I mean, there's 3 lines that stick out. There's that one, what's the priest is like, do you think God cares about donkeys? He's like, I fear he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. It's so simple. It's so simply put, but it says a lot. And then in the bar, the one that I always remember is, especially just the line delivery that Colin Farrell gives is like, oh God, maybe you were never nice.
Yeah.
That's
where he
what
just
I
used
was
to be
saying.
nice. It's so sad.
It's heartbreaking. This might be like, I had my heart broken a few times this year in the movies in a good way. And this time I was like, oh my, I feel for you, Patrick.
But I think what makes it better that second time that you watch it is when you realize that that's all there is to Podrick. There's no secret identity. You feel his heartbreak so much more. Where he was just oblivious to the fact that this person he's known and loved his whole life could even like be not who. It's just, oh my God, so simple.
And then of course the line at the very end is like something there's no moving on from, and I think that's a good thing. It's a great way to end the movie.
Yeah, great ending.
I gotta rewatch that too.
It's a great. Yeah. What was it on yours? To make top 10?
18.
Oh,
Okay. What was yours, Sonju?
7.
Okay.
It's a great way to cutting off the fingers is a great way to make the stakes like personify the stakes into something, and versus like something more figurative. I don't know. I thought that I assumed it was based off of a play or a book.
Well, he
or
is a
something.
playwright.
Well, I just assumed it was
that.
like some adaptation when I watched it, because it feels like that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great. I could see it being pretty high up. I'm gonna watch it again before the Oscars probably. So
It's definitely a movie that I would happily return to. Like if someone said right now, you want to go watch it?
As
I'll do it
depressing
right
a
now.
movie it is, it's also kind of a comfort watch.
totally.
It's also hilarious.
It's very funny. The vibes are impeccable. It's just cloudy. They have beer. It's in Ireland. It's
Nice time.
Colin Farrell is wonderful.
All right, time for one.
Time for number 1. This is going to be very interesting.
So, as someone who had F9 in their top 5 last year, it should come as no surprise that my number 1 is Top Gun Maverick. Anyone else?
It's not my top. No,
It's number 9 for me. Where's it for you, Sanju? Since you just rewatched
Yeah,
it.
you
I
watched
just
it for the
watched
first
it.
time.
It is. Let me me scroll here.
You didn't rate it, so I was like, ooh.
I
he's saving
purposely
it.
didn't rate it because I knew you were gonna look. 17.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Still, yeah.
What was your rating?
Well, yeah. What would you give it?
I love that I'm talking about it. It's your
I know
number
it's
one.
my turn.
I liked it, but watching. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the first one. I think it's kind of hokey.
No, same.
I think it
None
is.
of us are.
I don't think the first one's bad. It's just not my type
is.
of movie. I think it's fine. It's just cheeseball. It's not my type of movie. And I think this movie, Top Gun Maverick, does a great job of modernizing it but the tone still feels like Top Gun.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's just
nostalgia
enough,
baiting.
too.
Yeah,
Could have been gayer. Yeah.
It could have been gayer.
It could have been gayer. I agree.
not as gay as the volleyball scene. It is not. Did not do the volleyball scene justice. But
Well, the volleyball scene is more explicitly gay. The football scene is.
that's more about their camaraderie, though, in a different.
And the
it's not-
song's better.
Yeah. I think
think.
it does a good job of modernizing it without nostalgia baiting. I like what they do with Maverick, and it almost feels like a commentary of his character being in the same spot. It's almost like a commentary of like reboots and like soft reboots and sequels or like legacy sequels where he's still in the same spot 30 years later. Everyone else has moved on with their lives, and like I just thought that was kind of interesting. The action's great. I'm curious because I know a lot of it's shot practically, right? Because didn't
Yeah.
Tom Cruise like actually fly? So
He's a
I'm
licensed pilot.
curious how they VFX certain things, how they shot certain things. I know they put like I don't know if it was GoPros or what, but like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I
in
still don't know either.
cockpit.
Yeah, they lost some footage because they didn't press record on some of them because no one was operating the cameras.
Yeah.
They just stuck them on an
Damn.
airplane and let them.
A lot of
roll.
them too are like it's the camera. So a lot of those planes have 2 seats. So the camera will be behind the first one, pointed at Tom Cruise, is in the second one, who looks like he's flying the plane. But a lot of like the outside stuff where you see the plane is actually shot, and it's just
Yeah, it's crazy. So that stuff is like really impressive. Some of the still, even though it's modernized, it's still a little hokey. I think some of the heartstring stuff didn't work for me. Some of it did. There's one line of dialogue that I was going to text last night, but I didn't because I didn't want you to know I was watching it. It was
What
like,
was it?
put that in your military budget. And I just
it's a lot of
watched-
that. Yeah.
I had just watched All Quiet on the Western Front, and I was like, Jesus Christ. It was so funny. It was the funniest way I could have watched it. And Tom Cruise is great. I have a theory
Yeah.
that Tom Cruise gives off the same vibes as Tom Brady. Whereas, like, Tom Brady and Tom Cruise are both, like, they might have weird things, like, about them that you hear, whereas, like, Tom Brady might be a Republican. Tom Cruise is a Scientologist. But god damn it, they're just the best at what they do. And
Seriously.
I bet
can't
Tom
deny
Cruise
it.
could be a better quarterback.
Dude, I've been saying, I know Tom Cruise is like 5'7" and Tom Brady's like 6'4". Tom Cruise could be Tom Brady in a movie. Might be too late, but he would have been perfect.
He
Just
should have
make
been
him
80 for
taller.
Brady.
They should have been an 80 for Brady.
All right, DJ, talk
Okay,
about
sorry.
the movie.
Yeah. So if you know me, then you know what I value most in movies is entertainment. And I love symbolism, allegory, all the film school buzzwords. But when a movie can just be capital E entertaining, it can get away with almost anything. And Top Gun Maverick just might not be the best written, might not have the best politics, but it is a good time. And for most of the movie, you're like, okay, this is good. Aerial training sequences are great. I like the dichotomy between Maverick and Rooster. Love story could be a bit better. I could see it maybe being a 4, maybe a 3.5. But then halfway through, the mission starts, the stakes rise and the mission starts feeling like it's undoable, and the relationships start to develop more. And I'm getting a little emotional, I'm like, okay, wow, yeah, this is a 4. And then the third act happens, and you're like, what the heck is this movie? It just blew me out of the water. And I gave it a 4.5 the first time, but I watched it 2 more times and then ended up giving it a 5. And it's just the best time I had at a movie this year, and on both rewatches too. Two final thoughts. It's the ultimate dudes rock movie,
It is.
and solidified by that ending. And yes, I cried all 3 times.
You know, the first time I saw
There's-
it with you,
Yeah, I teared up.
I don't even remember that.
There's a lot of good dudes rock movies.
Yeah, this is
year.
yeah. Triple R,
which is
Triple R.
great. You know, keep it coming.
Finally,
Hollywood.
men have their year.
Yeah, man, we've been missing the men. Jesus Christ. No, this movie, Top Gun Maverick, I think by far is the most, I mean, for me at least, is the most rewatchable movie of the year.
I agree.
You know, there's movies I like more. Yeah, there's movies like Triple R, which I think is the more fulfilling experience just because the politics aren't as quite as cringy. But Triple R is 3 hours. And this is shorter, and it justifies every second of it. It's just so much fun. It's just so interestingly shot. This is hands down the best theater experience I think I probably had all year, because this was a movie built to be seen in a theater.
For sure.
Especially like the opening scene, the iconic shot that they've talked about so much that they did for real with Ed Harris there, of the plane flying and the roof actually coming off the very beginning, is amazing. And the fact that the fake airplane they had for the opening scene, the Chinese thought they were developing an actual airplane. Like the Chinese were mistaken about Top Gun Maverick. They had surveillance drones on the set over that airfield, and they thought that airplane was something that the U.S. government was actually developing. But like that opening scene,
it could be a short film on its own.
It could be
so well,
but like
That's pretty
those, as I said before, with stuff like Godland and even like Banshees of Inisherin, I'm a sucker for amazing landscape shots, and there's like some great low Earth orbit shots of him like making the big U-turn.
Yeah,
and they're just amazing, just
Great
beautiful.
the stuff in the
cinematography,
snow too looks great.
And
Agreed.
yeah,
Is that supposed to be
And-
Russia?
They
They
purposely
don't
kept it.
say.
I
it
know
could be
they
Russia,
don't
could be
say.
North Korea.
I'd imagine it's
I assume
Russia.
it's Russia.
If
It's
they
actually
are on
based-
a boat, and
not
yeah, well, I was gonna say if they're on a boat and the Top Gun base is in California, I assume they went west to Russia. I don't know.
it's actually like quite literally based off of a mission that the Israeli military flew to destroy a nuclear development site in Iran.
Damn.
So like it is explicitly so. Like I think someone sued them over how explicitly so it is. So technically it is an amalgamation
They have
of Iran.
copyright on their military
and-
operation.
Well, no, someone wrote a like publicized an article about
Oh,
it.
okay.
And so like the nuclear part of that, I think, is like riffing off of the Iranian stuff. And then obviously the cold is pulling more from like the Russian iconography. So they're kind of like pulling from a few different enemy sources to make it just kind of like generalized and not specific.
Sure, that's what I figured. That because they just say enemy.
Yeah.
Which
Which is
is
better.
Guys,
It ages better.
I mean,
True.
it's not a secret, but I get it. It's like they're trying not to make it too on the nose and sell it
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
But what did you guys think of all the IMAX shit is so sick. I wish I saw it in the theater. But did the changing aspect ratios bother you at all?
Well, that's an IMAX.
I didn't even
thing.
notice.
That's because
Didn't
IMAX.
even notice. Yeah.
IMAX is
No,
only-
yeah, I know.
Yeah. No, I don't care.
Well, I thought you would only notice that in IMAX, right? Because
No, you notice
No.
Nope is also partially in IMAX, and whenever it's IMAX, it changes to the IMAX ratio.
oh,
Doesn't
okay.
bother me.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah,
The whale was
I
shot
bother
in
you?
IMAX
It'd be hilarious if it was.
just to fit his whole fucking suit on the screen.
I mean, I think like the change between
If you're not,
IMAX
if you're not
and
helping
not
the whale
IMAX
allegations.
is you only notice it if you're kind of bored or you're like looking to notice it.
Yeah,
If you're into the
true.
movie, then it's not an issue because you're not noticing the edges of the frame.
Yeah.
The
All I
first
can
time I
say-
heard people complain about it was The Dark Knight Rises. And
Yeah.
I saw it in the theater and I like never noticed it. And then now that someone pointed it out, now I notice it every time. It's so annoying.
It's a fun little
It-
quirk.
It doesn't bother me, really. And it's kind of interesting how it shifts from like, it'll go from like an action sequence to like a dialogue scene. And it's I don't know. It's like an interesting transition sometimes.
Look, I'm gonna make a bet with all of you right now that within the next 5 years we are going to get an action movie, maybe a Marvel or whatever kind of movie that's filmed partially in IMAX, where they reference the fact that the aspect ratio has changed in the film.
I can see that.
Man, I'm like
Marvel would never spend
claustrophobic all of
money.
a sudden.
And half the audience won't even notice.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
Can I just say it's a sad state of affairs when the fucking Tom Cruise led Top Gun sequel is the underdog of the year.
Dude, and it got delayed like 50 times.
And I remember
Seriously.
seeing the trailers in early 2020 and thinking I would rather kill myself than watch that.
None of us had it on
No
our
one-
radar.
yeah.
We were
Definitely.
and
like,
it became a meme. No one's like,
Yeah.
when is this coming out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my
And
biggest
then
surprise. For
it
sure.
broke records, like box office
It's in
records.
like the top 10
It's
of all time.
right?
Top 5.
And like the
US
fact
though.
that it's the only movie to be at the top of the box office at the beginning of the summer, at like what is it, Memorial Day, and then at the end of the summer at Labor Day. It's just wild.
Nuts. Yeah.
So cool.
Wow.
I mean, that's partially because we're still like COVID aftershocks, and there was nothing this summer essentially.
It's so funny.
Mm.
Avatar has almost doubled it.
So
Jeez.
stupid. Like, fuck
Insane.
Avatar. I have.
Oh yeah, none
I-
of us had it.
I've
I didn't
yet
see it.
to
I
have
didn't
the
see it.
opportunity on this
Oh.
podcast to say that, but
I don't.
Don't-
I have.
don't
no
hate on James
qualms
Cameron.
against James.
He's a
Cameron.
no. Let me hate on the movie all I want. I'm not hating on James Cameron. There's a difference.
I'll hate on
Fair
James Cameron.
enough.
I love the,
No.
like the filmmaker, the people who worked on it. A+ for you. The fact that they actually like did those special effects.
They
Great.
actually went to
Like
Pandora.
now you can look at a movie like Quantum Mania, which has like shit special effects. I'm gonna say it. I haven't seen it yet.
No,
but what I've
some-
seen.
I have no
Some of them
problem
are
saying
good.
that it
Some
looks
of them
bad.
are good.
I mean,
Yeah, MODOK.
when
looks great.
compared, like I hope James Cameron keeps like pushing the ball so that
Yeah,
bad special
sure.
effects or even like mediocre don't have an excuse. And
Yeah.
let's be fair, the blame is not on the special effects artists. It's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Disney overworking and underpaying its staff.
It reminds me, Sonju, did you see did I send you the video of Mark and Maron talking about auditioning for Avatar 2?
I saw it. I haven't watched it yet.
It's so fucking funny. Watch
Oh,
it.
I wanna
later,
see that.
but-
his special was great. I just watched it the other day.
Oh, really? It was good. I love.
It's on
Mark
HBO
Maron, so
Max.
Check it out.
Yeah, it's very unique and it's good. I like it.
Brandon, what's your number one? I'm on.
All right,
Top Gun.
boys. My number one. I think I got some support here, fellas. My number one is Tar.
What's that?
Oh yeah, I didn't make my list. It's my number
Chandler?
14. I still
It's,
really liked it though.
It's my 4.
What?
Wait, you
Nature's
didn't
4?
say that.
Yeah, I
liar.
said that. No, it's my
I
number
don't
4.
remember that.
It is. It's also my number one.
Let's go.
Nice.
Let's
talk,
go.
Let's
We can
talk
s-
about Tar.
What about Beethoven? You into him?
Tar.
Lydia Tar.
Lydia Tar.
Lydia fucking Tar.
When's that short film come out?
This week, but it's at Berlinale, whatever the fuck. It's
Oh, I
called.
didn't know it was a
right,
short
right.
film.
Yeah, I would not. Okay, I would not be surprised. I'm saying it now. I would not be surprised if we get a Tar sequel. I know it's
be
weird for
interesting.
like these indie movies to get sequels. The Souvenir got a sequel, whatever. I think both Todd Field and Kate Blanchett and the world at large love this character too much to just let it go so easily.
Oh,
The
most
ending
certainly.
is so
become like a meme now.
perfect, but I trust.
Oh, it
them.
would still be great.
It would still be great.
Yeah.
Every interview you hear Kate Blanchett talk about the movie. She's just in love with playing the character. and
Exactly.
being that.
I find it hard to believe they would let it go.
Yeah, I
mean-
agree. It is a masterclass in. It's just a masterclass. It's in dialogue. It's scary. Like it's like the way darkness is lit in this movie is my favorite since Hereditary. It's like dark bluish. The performance, Kate Blanchett obviously is incredible.
It's best of the year.
It's she'll win.
Best of
I
the
mean,
decade, maybe. I don't know.
there's
I don't
no
remember the
way.
last time I've seen a performance this good.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's so precise in what it is trying to say. It's I'm a sucker for a good character study. The sound design's great. The score is great. It puts me into a world like I don't know shit about fucking
No one does.
like I don't know anything about that world, but it's
Yeah.
so
Classical
interesting.
music.
Yeah. And
And
there's
that-
like long stretches where they're talking about it and you don't know what's going on, but it's fine. It's so interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And it puts you in a place where you're making a judgment on Lydia Tarr, where it's like how, kind of pretentious she is and how she values like feeling like superior to other people and how that power is corrupting her. And all those scenes with her like mentor at the restaurant, I mean, it's incredible.
Someone pointed out that they don't even say the word cancel in this, despite it
No.
kind of being
Thank
about
God.
her getting
Which would be
canceled.
terrible. It'd be
Yeah, that'd be
bad.
so
God.
crazy. But
And
yeah,
it
it plays with those
everything
themes really well.
that is off screen or hinted at or we haven't been shown is just as interesting as everything we are seeing.
Yeah.
And it just has you questioning what's happening the entire movie. We've been talking about atmosphere quite a bit. So atmospheric. It's like rainy. That sequence with the dog is
She goes to the
creepy.
stalker apartments.
She does.
She
and I
does.
love me some Stalker Tarkovsky. So yeah, it's my favorite of the year.
I have not liked a character this much, and performance, I should say, character and performance since Uncut Gems. I feel like there's like that certain level, and before that, I hadn't liked one that much since Phantom Thread. I feel like you get every once in a while, you get these just performances / character where both the writing and the directing and the fucking performance are like all working at perfection. And it's such a unique movie. It's a character study of someone who doesn't exist. It's a biopic of someone who doesn't exist, but it's not really a biopic too, because it's like this weird, almost like fable-like thing to it.
What's so wild about the biopic thing is I feel like the lines between biopic and not biopic has been further blurred, if it was even possible, because it's an entirely fictional movie. But now I think it's like the son or someone of Leonard Bernstein literally said, "Oh yeah, I think he would have taught Tar." Like confirmed, like someone just said, like, "Yes, I approve of this," from his estate.
Awesome.
And they're like, "Oh, cool, great." So now that they're like confirmed that there's an actual connection between a fictional character and a real person. Oh my God, this is like, I love performance, like the performances that Chandler mentioned, Uncut Gems and Phantom Thread, great performances. But this is equivalent to There Will Be Blood in terms of like just iconic performances and characters that just will not go away. I cannot see this film ever decreasing in its value and its social cachet, just in terms of like Cate Blanchett's crowning achievement of such a long career.
And she's had
and
many.
then she's had great. She's such a good actress. And
I love
then
her.
this is like, I'm sure you could be like, you know, this might not be your cup of tea and all that, but you might like other performances better, other movies better and all that. But there's something like undeniably real and raw about this performance that has connected. And it's just, oh my God. Like, I don't know where to even begin. As we're talking about this and as we're talking about Banshees as well, I'm seriously considering putting both of these on my favorites of all time list. Just
Same. Tar, I think
it's kind of
will be.
recency bias, but I'm okay. Like I like leaning into that occasionally. I mean, what's the worst that happens? I remove them after a little bit. But this is just like, especially like the whole movie is building up to the ending. We've talked about this so many times in our friend group. Just
It's
like the whole movie is a punchline essentially.
It's-
And
I didn't even get the
PTA
ending.
PTA
I
was talking
understand it,
about this.
That's good.
Is that it's such a funny movie. Like it's not a funny movie. It's not a comedy in any way, shape, or form.
But it
But-
is too.
Yeah,
It
but
is.
it is.
Yeah.
And I feel like out of, if I may say so, out of everyone in this group, I'm the one that kind of like was tuned in the most to the absurdly pretentious dialogue in the movie. As someone who loves classical music, who was already familiar with Mahler and a lot of the pieces that they were doing, the opening scene in the New Yorker with the actual, he's an actual reporter for them.
Yeah.
They got to do that. And
Lincoln Center.
the Lincoln Center, yeah.
Yeah.
I love how
just
long it is. It's
following
like 10
that.
minutes.
Entirely. Like
Yeah, for
also
sure.
because like they mentioned two very specific niche Jewish words. They're like
Oh yeah,
Kavanaugh, and there's another one she mentioned. It was like I'm following it, and as I'm following this absurdly niche dialogue, I'm like, what the hell? Like, how are you getting away with this? Like, it feels real. And one of the things I really love about this is that like there's so much performance is a big part of this in terms of just, Cate Blanchett, but also like in the text itself, how Cate Blanchett, how Tar herself is performing. She's putting on an act for everyone. She's trying to seem cultural and worldly. And so she uses these big words and these terms and stuff that she knows, but she is coming across and putting on like this air of someone in control, someone who knows everything. And that's very not who she is once like the threads start being pulled on her life and the stuff that she gets into in her private time. And it's just for a movie about canceling, for a movie that like was not on my radar at all the beginning of the movie or the beginning of the year, just blew me out of the park.
Can I also just say,
film.
The director Todd Field, obviously, he's only did 2 movies. He did in 2006 and like 2011 or something like that. Both those movies were adapted screenplays based on short stories and novels. And this is his first like fully original thing. And I was listening to an interview today where he said like, I've never dabbled into writing something completely fully myself because he doesn't feel like he fancies himself a writer. And this is like one of the best scripts ever.
Dude, what?
Fucking insane.
How long did he take to write it, I wonder?
He said he had like the idea a long time ago, but he wrote it at like the beginning of COVID because he's like, I have time. I might as well just do it. And he wrote it like a month.
He wrote it for Cate Blanchett too.
Yeah.
He said, I had no backup plan. This was written for Cate Blanchett.
And so like, cool. It's such a weirdly specific, odd movie. I feel like it shouldn't have been made, but it did. And the fact that it was made is a miracle. The fact that it's this good is another miracle. And the fact that it's this popular is the fact that
there are memes.
The meme stock is insane.
Yeah.
The most memeable movie since Uncut Gems.
I was gonna say I didn't really like. I got the ending kind of, but I didn't get the extent of it the first time. Like I didn't even know that it was a Monster Hunter convention.
Same. I didn't either. I played like over 200 hours of Monster Hunter.
Yeah, but it's in the credits, in the opening credits. Yeah. So we should have just been aware of it. I didn't even read that.
Yeah. Also, a movie that brought credits back to the beginning. It's fucking based.
Mm-hmm. So weird that they actually got the rights to that. Because they're like shitting on it.
I know. Not really. They just say that she's above it. Implying, not even saying, just implying that she's above it.
Another ending that I'm a sucker for are like endings that feel like the end of a Greek myth or something. Mm-hmm. Like the Lighthouse is such a like perfect ending. And I feel like Tar is another one where it's just like such a poetic just conclusion to this character.
It's not, because there's a literal short film coming out.
Yeah, but is that after?
It's after.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We're getting a Tar too. We're getting retard.
Someone pointed out too that it's cool that the credits are at the beginning because it's kind of like saying like, here, these are all the people that helped out with this work of art. Like whereas Lydia Tar would, it's all about her.
That's true. I didn't even
That's true.
that.
Yeah. Saved my ass too. Because when I saw it,
that's true. You were late as hell.
Yeah,
dude. I just sat in a random seat because I will never. Wherever we went, dude, it was such a nightmare.
Yeah,
getting in there.
There is a beginning scene though. You missed.
No, I watched it. I've watched it since.
Yeah. It's you can get the movie without that.
Yeah, the plane. Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's an iPhone shot.
Yep. I don't know why it's not coming to me at the moment, but the opening credits are also kind of like the before like an opera, you have the score, the overture. That's it.
Yeah.
Or,
Lawrence of Arabia.
Lawrence of Arabia. Yeah. That has an overture, and the credits serve as the overture for the film.
Yeah.
Right.
Bring those back.
Yeah.
Overtures.
Those are awesome.
So all three of us had it at 1, right? And DJ had Top Gun.
I did not have it at 1.
Yeah,
what's your number 1?
That would be very embarrassing if everyone had to.
It would be very funny if we just ended.
Okay, anyway.
My number 1, I'll be brief because I know it's not anyone else's list. But I did a complete 180, and Aftersun is my favorite.
What?
Oh my god!
Whoa.
Holy
I
shit!
saw
Did
you
say this
rewatched
one
it.
too? You said
Complete
this one.
180. When I watched it the first time, I watched it in the worst circumstances possible because the sun was out coming through the window. I couldn't see half the
Oh,
fucking
God.
screen.
Oh,
So I
wow.
watched it last night, sitting at my desk with headphones on, and it was like
Not
a
even at a
trans-
TV.
No, I had my computer because I didn't want to, whatever. But oh my god,
Did you sob?
fucking hell. I was very
I'm
close.
so excited. I'm so happy this is your number one.
I was very close,
Wow.
dude. I don't know what it was. Maybe I watched the wrong movie. Maybe I watched the fucking Lost Daughter with Olivia, whatever the fuck.
Coleman.
It's a
Um,
great
but-
movie.
Don't get her
I-
name wrong. Don't you dare.
Olivia Colman, sorry. But oh my god, dude. I don't know. I don't know if a movie has made me like this viscerally depressed in a long time.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I don't know. I don't know what to say with it because I know a lot of us, me included, didn't really care for it the first time.
I got a 3.
We had almost the exact same.
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
All three
I
of
know.
us did. Or you
But
did, yeah, no,
All four of us didn't
There's
know what
been-
to make of it.
There's been many movies this year that I watched, wasn't too into, but not one that I was like, you need to see it again. And maybe it's because the fact that everybody loves it so much, whatever. But seeing it a second time, I had a similar thing with Moonlight, where I watched it, I'm like, that was pretty good. Then you see it the second time, you're like, oh my god. This one, it's just so. I listened to a shit ton of interviews with this girl. She's it's a directorial debut, by the way, which is fucking insane.
That's insane. Yeah.
Insane. She's very influenced by what's Chantal Ackerman, Claire Denis, a bunch Kelly Reichardt, slow females. And I'm not really into a lot of those directors. I like movies from all of them, but I'm not super into it. But I could see the essence in the sense that every shot is beautifully composed and beautifully paced and super simple, but says so fucking much. I didn't pick up on just the idea, because the idea is that it's about this woman who's going back in her mind, whatever memories of pretty much the last time she saw her dad. That's another thing I didn't pick up on the first time. I just thought, maybe he died or whatever, but I didn't get the tangible like connection to suicide this time that I did the first time. And I gotta say, like, a scene that was so overwhelming I almost had to like turn it off was at the end, the David Bowie song that plays when it's her as an adult dancing in this club, and it's interspersed throughout the movie where she's like having this vision of her dad, where she's just in the club with the flashing lights and she sees her dad dancing among people and she's like crying, like trying to get like, that was like almost too much for me. I don't know. It's just Paul Mescal's my favorite performance of the year. There's just so much about this that I'm very glad I watched it a second time. But holy fuck, like it went, I think it's going straight to my top 100 and I didn't expect it. I don't know why I watched it a second time.
Holy shit.
I'm so happy because this is one that I didn't know what to make of it the first time, and now I'm thrilled to be able to watch it a second time. I can't wait.
I hope
I'll have to see it again too
soon, but fucking hell, depressing.
Yeah, we talked about a little bit, Chandler and I, where it's like I appreciated the filmmaking aspect of it, and I got like what the movie was saying, but it just didn't like click with me. And maybe it is because I need to watch it again. And now that you like had that visceral of a reaction to it, now I feel like I have to.
I'll be brief. The one scene that really convinced me is that there's a scene where you can tell that Paul Mescal's depressed. He's disassociating. He's forcing himself to be this chipper guy for his father. You get the feeling that he's 30. He had a kid 10 years ago, that maybe he's wasted his youth. He's really uncomfortable the fact that he's 30, and every single time someone brings it up, there's that scene where the daughter gets everyone. The karaoke, it's so hard to watch. The scene where the daughter gets everyone to sing him happy birthday. He doesn't even like smile. Hard cut to him like sobbing at the end of his bed. But what really did it for me, made me realize that there's more to this that I saw the first time, is that there's a scene where Paul Mescal's just brushing his teeth. They had this great day where they went swimming, had a great meal, whatever. And the daughter's talking about like, you ever just feel down? Like, we had this amazing day, and no matter what I'm doing, I'm just starting to feel like really tired, like my bones are tired or whatever. And you can see Paul Mescal's face like, oh my God, I gave this to her. Yeah. This clinical depression, like this inability to enjoy life, I've passed it down to the only person that I love. And you can just see all his emotions on his face. Oh my God, dude.
And he spits right in the mirror.
And he spits in the mirror.
Yeah.
Say one more thing on it is that one thing I didn't appreciate the first time I watched it is because again, it's about a father who's depressed, and you see these little hints of his depression, but he tries his best to hide it from his daughter. And the scenes that he's alone, you can see that, he's not so great at hiding it. But I think one thing that it captures more than anything is that I wish I didn't feel this way, but every time I go on a vacation, I just kind of get depressed because there's this part of me that thinks that like this vacation is just a break from reality and the shittiness that reality can sometimes be. And I find myself very like unable to enjoy a vacation fully because of its inherent temporariness. And I think that sort of like melancholy that is inherent to that specific view of something that's supposed to be a joyous thing. You can see him like try his absolute best. Like, this should be perfect. I'm in an idyllic tropical paradise with the daughter that I love, having a great time. She's having a great time. And yet at the end of the day, he just breaks down crying. I don't know. It's way more, I want to know what was even going through my head the first time I watched it. What was I doing?
Well, what you gave it a positive score still, didn't you?
3.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I gave it.
I would have given it a positive score. I didn't score it at all just because I didn't know what to make of it.
Exactly. I think when you go in knowing what it's supposed to be, it's so much more tragic. The fucking DV footage is so sad. And again,
my favorite shot of the year is from Aftersun. That shot of the TV in the mirror.
Yeah.
That's such a sick fucking shot.
Even that scene too, it begins with her playfully interviewing her dad because she just turned 11, and she asked her dad like, what did you think you were going to be like when you were 11 or whatever. And that's like a reality because he just turned 30 the same time that she's turning 11. Maybe that's the basis for their vacation, is because they both had a birthday. And you can feel that like he can't come to the like fleeting feelings of his youth about to pass him by. He just literally can't even confront the base of that, which that being his 30th birthday. And then it shuts off. And then he's forced to talk about his 30th birthday, that his parents didn't remember it and he was shunned or whatever. It's just so fucking depressing. But also Paul Mescal is like so charming but it makes it worse because you're like, how is this beautiful, bright young man just so depressed? And on paper, it's the lot of shit I don't like about these A24 type movies where it's really pretty and it's about people who are sad, but I never feel that sadness like I did in this. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Gave me temporary secondhand depression.
I'm a sucker for movies that can make me feel sad and depressed, and because it's such a strong reaction, it's so hard to evoke that in someone. I think it's pretty easy to get someone to be excited, see Top Gun Maverick and R, but to get someone to feel deep melancholy about something is, you got to work hard for that. You got to really know what you're doing cinematically. You got to really know human nature and all that. It doesn't come easily. It's not easily manipulated out of someone. So I'm just so curious. This is the most entertaining way of finishing this particular episode. I'm so happy you had this switch, and regardless of what happens when I watch it a second time, I do find this fascinating. It'll be an interesting movie too. I'm sure we will all at some point revisit it and keep this discussion going. And maybe now that I'm, God, birthdays fucking suck. Look, I get anxiety in my birthday every year, so I can definitely relate. And now that I'm turning 26 in a couple of days, maybe now's the time to revisit this. It's Saturday.
Oh, okay. Did you see? Birthday? Did you see the Blu-ray that was announced for Aftersun?
No.
It's also a movie one.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, that's cool.
Wow. And it looks incredible. I hate the poster for the record.
What?
The poster.
It's
just them on the beach, but that's what got me stopped me from watching it for so long. So I'm like, oh, it's another one of these. But the poster on the Blu-ray is not like much better, but it's a little more.
Okay.
Let's see if I change the poster.
I saw you rewatched it yesterday, and I didn't even wasn't even on my radar. Because I saw you just
Yeah, I
you just
didn't expect
hearted
that
it.
either.
Well, I wasn't gonna spoil it.
I know. I figured. I
That
don't
is
know
good.
why I didn't even put that together. That's crazy.
I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you so far. Sorry to interrupt again, Sanju, but
Are you good?
I don't care for this. Let's hide our lists this whole time.
That's part of the fun.
That is so far the fun.
No, okay, but that's the thing. You say fun. I haven't. None of this has been shocking until this last one, which is my
That
point.
was the
Like,
most
this is the
shocking, yeah.
only reason. Like Chandler finally justified hiding his list. You, Sanju, did not justify hiding your list. There was nothing shocking about
I'm
your
sorry,
list.
Tar is a master.
Not that there's a bad thing. No. I'm happy you agree with me. Like, I'm not gonna be complaining.
Hey,
But
you were
this
surprised
is-
that Barbarian at 4.
Yeah.
I was surprised about that too.
So at the very least, everyone had one movie at least that justified hiding it from me. So you better do it next year. You better have one movie that surprises me. If you don't,
Yeah, well,
I'm
Fast
canceling.
X is
you're not
coming
getting
out,
invited
so-
back.
Skinamarink, number 1. confirmed.
True. Skin Ring 2.
If Skinamarik's on any of your top 10, I'm walking
There's
into the ocean
it
like
probably
Paul
will be.
Mescal in
Yeah.
Aftersun.
He does do that. I forgot about that too.
Yeah, I gotta rewatch. I don't know. That's crazy that jumped up that much.
Jacob, you gotta promise me you're gonna watch Fast X, or at least
Should I do
one of them.
a similar thing that I did with was it Dark Phoenix or whatever the X-Men
The
movie
X-Men
is?
movie? I don't know what you
Yeah.
do. I don't know.
That's the only one I've seen.
What?
that one.
No.
Out of any of them,
Oh my
Out of
God,
any
the
of them.
original.
dude, X.
No.
The first 2 X-Men are so sick.
Yeah, and Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past. Yeah,
I'm sure.
it's sick.
I think the only one I really regret not watching is Logan, obviously.
Oh
Logan.
yeah, you
Oh,
gotta watch
it's
Logan,
good.
too. I would.
It's late,
I
bro.
would. Yeah, it's
we've been
11:40 over
recording
here.
long. Shit. I mean, thank you. Yet again,
It's
DJ,
okay.
you provided a very interesting perspective to all this. Sanju,
Thank you.
obviously, and Chandler. I don't know. Do we have any parting thoughts just about like the year of 2020 as a whole?
Sleeper year. I'll say
Incredible
sleeper
year.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sleeper year.
Sleeper
About until
year.
2 months ago, I didn't think, it's fine. But now looking at all these
Love
solid
it.
stuff.
It's a sleeper year because I was profoundly disappointed by a lot of movies that came out, but there was a lot of movies that were still I didn't expect that were just amazing.
Totally.
Chandler, would you say it's better than 2019 now?
No.
Oh.
2019 will never be topped.
Yeah.
What?
not even
Uncut
close.
Gems.
I
Uncut
mean,
Gems,
yeah.
The Lighthouse.
Parasite, Marriage Story,
Parasite.
Irishman.
I know it's a
Under the
great
Silver
year.
Lake,
I
now
love
that It's
it.
been inducted into the 2019 canon.
Which one?
That's
Under the Silver Lake.
Oh.
Midsummer, Once Upon a Time.
Bait.
No, I agree that it's an
Irishman.
amazing year, but so is
No.
2022 for me.
Knives Out.
Knives Out.
Oh yeah.
That's
An
Okay,
elephant
maybe
shit
it
is
is.
still.
Maybe. Okay, I just need some more time. All right, give me
I
some
feel
more
really
time.
bad not
I need
getting
some more
Glass Onion in the
rewatches.
top 10.
Which one?
I tried so
Glass
hard to
Onion.
get Glass Onion in the top 10.
You gotta force feed that thing, dude.
I don't feel
I
bad. I think there's I don't know. It's just Ryan Johnson's like just a bit too brash. Like I think Knives Out struck the perfect middle ground between explicitly political, but also like not too explicitly, where like I think you're alienating a large portion of the audience.
Hmm.
I'm
I wanna
not
see
trying to
Poker
say
Face.
anything bad against
True.
Glass Onion. You know, murder mysteries are one of my favorite genres, so I
True.
shouldn't say anything bad about them.
Phil Tippett's in the newest episode of Poker Face.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
weird.
Shout out,
So
man.
odd.
God.
All right.
I mean, final thoughts, I guess. Some a movie that was nominated, The Quiet Girl, is nominated for Best Foreign Language Film. And the only thing I have to say about this is it's, I think, the first foreign language film in Irish, like actual Irish,
I didn't know that was a language.
That's insane.
to be nominated. Yeah, there's a lot of people don't know. But the thing that, like, it's kind of, I won't say formulaic, but you know where it's going, but it's very charming. The thing that really like got to me is I just love listening to the Irish language. Like hearing that, it was such a unique experience that I just loved it. I recommend it just on that. That's so gorgeously shot. So great
Cool.
year.
Great year of guys being dudes.
Dudes rock,
Imperialism and
dudes.
anti-imperialism.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
The
war.
Stranger. The Stranger, directed by Thomas M. Wright, starring Joel Edgerton and Sean Harris. That's another guys being dudes in a very different context. Like they're not good dudes, but they're guys being dudes. It's just kind of like that. Yeah.
Then we'll call it Guys Being Fellas.
Yeah. A movie about bros.
Good alternative.
All right. Well, let's hope for a good year, a good cock year too.
A good 2023. It looks like, I think it's, what is it? Speaking of television, Hirokazu Korieda's new short series, The Makanai, which is on Netflix, is looking like it's the first thing that I will watch from 2023.
Nice.
That's the first thing. I haven't got around to anything. That's crazy.
No, it's the first couple months through until like the Oscars. Usually, I don't pay attention to the new year. This is not a new film.
They're not your
for me.
movies.
No.
I have my
list is
2023.
completed. Just Skinamarink.
I think
That's it.
Your list is completed?
literally all that I have.
That's all I'm gonna watch this year.
Oh, I see.
Skinamarink.
I have
That's
mine
it. You're
pre-ranked already.
Movies are
That's
canceled
a
after
genius
Skinamarink.
idea. We should do a 2023 list now. Our top 10.
What's your number one, real quick, of
Barbie.
2023?
But
Barbie.
Killers of
Barbie.
the Flower Moon is 2.
Number 1
Kiss
is
the
Barbie,
Flower
yep.
Moon.
And then number 3, Oppenheimer, maybe.
Indiana Jones,
Oppenheimer.
and then
Oh,
Fast
Jesus
X.
Christ! Don't mention that movie to me.
I
All
hope
right.
it's good.
Well, it's certainly shaping up to be an interesting year. Maybe
Some Wes
time will
Anderson.
only tell. Yeah. Oh yeah. Listen, we could go on this. For
Yeah.
So thank you
All right.
so much for listening. I hope you had an interesting time listening to our rambling discussion and all of our thoughts on these movies. I'm sure whenever Chandler and I get together again, we may have some more just scattered thoughts about movies we didn't get to discuss in 2022, but this will probably be the last time we talk about it. Do the thing, if you liked it, subscribe and all that. We're starting to get some more, I have to do this normal thing. I
No,
don't
yeah.
like doing it.
Like and subscribe, everyone.
Yeah, no one made it to the end. No one made it all this way. Actually, if you made it all this way, you can personally message me and we'll have a great conversation about
You should give them a password, some sort of code word to comment.
Oh,
and then
sure.
we'll know who the real ones are.
Yeah, and then pin it.
If you comment, if you comment,
Chandler
looking over-
Stinky.
No.
Oh.
Just
How'd you
this.
know?
Just this. Kim Novak. Just comment Kim
Okay.
Novak, and you are entered to win a prize.
Whoa.
I'm not stating what this prize
Entered
is.
to win. Not a guarantee, though.
Yes, not a guarantee. There's no guarantee. There's a prize that may happen, may not happen, but that's your secret code word.
Hell
So
Thanks for
watching.
having me.
Yes, thank you everyone again.